We're going to switch right over to our next guest. And of course, I am just thrilled to promote storytelling. In our last show, we talked with Kate Dunning about Story Circle, but this time we're talking about Children at the Well, which is an offshoot, not an offshoot, but it's a portion of with our stories, with our voices, right? I want to get that right. Yeah.
Shall I explain?
Yeah. So.
Okay. Actually, Kate Dunning, who was just here,
Yeah.
was instrumental in starting us in that.
Really? Oh, I did not know that.
And she came to a group of us. My daughter was involved with the Interfaith Story Circle when she was all.
I remember you still have the Interfaith Story Circle, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We do. And my daughter was 11, and she became an interfaith storyteller, and she was the only kid for a while. And then Kate came along and said, the National Storytelling Network is offering a grant for programs that can transform communities. And so I knew that Gert Johnson, who was the founder of the Interfaith Story Circle, wanted to try a youth group. So I said, if you guys get your ideas together, I'll write it up for you. So we submitted this proposal and we won. It's a national contest and we won.
Isn't that amazing?
And it was Kate who brought the idea to us.
Well, I guess most kids, all right, I'm going to go from what I'm thinking. Kids are shy and they usually don't like to be in the limelight. How did you get them to get involved?
Oh, at first, it was mostly, teachers encouraging them, parents, that sort of thing. But once they're in the program, Stephanie can tell you how the coaches.
So Stephanie did, yes, tell me.
Yeah.
How did you get involved?
So I've been doing this for about 1.5 years now. I got involved, they were looking for story coaches, people who had worked with kids, people with theatrical backgrounds. So the Mopco Improv Theater actually.
Oh, you've been working with Mopco.
Yeah,
They're wonderful over
that.
there. Yeah, Burns and Kat, yeah.
They sent me the job posting. I got in touch with Paula and I have had a very fulfilling experience working with them. So kids, I like to use a lot of theater stuff to try to break down some barriers. A lot of the
improv stuff to kind of loosen them up a little bit.
Yeah, it's low stakes, confidence, getting up in front of people, expressing yourself. And we really try to build a community within the students that they build themselves. We make our own rules. The students make the rules for how we're going to treat each other. And we treat that with respect. And so they're just able to feel safe, expressing themselves and also comfortable and willing to fail. So those kind of exercises, improv, theater stuff.
Do you get teachers involved in directing kids to this, or?
We wish we had more teachers sending us students, for sure. I don't think we had any teachers send us students this year.
Not this year. No,
We need to get them involved. Yeah. Well, they've probably got their hands full with everything else that they're doing, but still.
A couple of years.
But it's a good idea to get, in even theater groups to kind of,
I did want to add to what you were saying, Stephanie, about the idea of appreciations.
Yes.
To keep them building their confidence.
Yeah, we don't use constructive criticism, which I know.
the critique.
But your brain kind of goes, how do you get better if you don't use constructive criticism? But we use appreciations, which is just.
And it reinforces.
Yes.
It's a reinforcement.
It reinforces, but it also helps you discover. Like, when we just pick out good things, everyone picks out a different good thing about, the performance they just saw. And that means that the performer is now hearing all these good things, some of which they might not know about themselves. So you might not know that.
So someone else is recognizing
Yes.
what you don't recognize in yourself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we spend a lot of time critiquing, but we often have positive thoughts about others that we don't share. So this has helped. The appreciations I've brought into like most other theater work that I do. It's really kind of changed the way that I like to teach theater, because you are reinforcing, building confidence, making it less scary to fail, because we're not going to point out your failures. We're going to point out where you went right.
You look at the strengths rather than
Yes.
because in building the strengths, you diminish the things that are not quite didn't work as well.
Every child is going to tell a story a different way. So I'm not your director, I'm your coach. I want to find out what you are best at. If you're great at character voices, or you have really good stage presence, or you're really good at coming up with similes and metaphors, I want to bring that out so that you can tell the story.
You're the
best way
coach.
that you would. Yeah.
You're the coach, okay. You don't carry basketball or
No,
anything.
I am not a sporty person.
I mean either. But anyway, So now when the student, they aren't student, I don't know, when they're storytellers, we'll call them storytellers.
Yeah.
When they come, are they, do you give them an idea of a story, or do they just want to talk about their dog Blue? You know, I don't know. I'm just trying to.
So it starts off, we have several exercises we're going to run through. Our class just started last Sunday. We'll have some like example stories. I don't want to spoil the class that's coming up, but we encourage them to find a story that's very important to them. And we talk about.
Could it be something in their life?
Yes, personal narrative, a cultural story, a religious story, but we really want it has to be something they believe in with their whole heart, because they're going to be working on that story a lot.
Okay.
So the first several weeks are us trying to encourage them ways to find those stories, whether it's online, talking to your family, talking to family members about memories, history, thinking about different things in your life that are important to you, and how you can find a story that says what it is that you want to say. So.
Okay, so it could be my Uncle John who built ships or something, and you want to tell about him and how it affected you.
Yeah.
That would be like a story.
It could be that. It could also be a couple years ago, my co-coach Aya told me there was a teller, and she told the story of Hansel and Gretel. And, you know, it's a simple story, a basic fairy tale. But what it meant to her was it was about her and her brother's experience as refugees. So students,
that's
the way that
interesting.
they attach to it is it's what's going to come out in the performance.
Yeah, because they were seekers too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were both seekers. We're looking for something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a metaphor. Yeah, really, really good. Paula, how do you enjoy working with this? I mean, in gathering coaches and gathering students and I mean, I know that you've got an event coming up. Tell me about that. And when I look at the photos, it seems as though you get multicultural
Yeah, we
stories.
do.
So tell me more about that.
So let me go back a bit to the structure
Sure.
of who we are. So Interfaith Story Circle was the first entity. Children at the Well was developed in 2006. We incorporated at that time. And the nonprofit is called With Our Voice. So that's where With Our Voice comes in.
Okay.
And the two programs of With Our Voice, Children at the Well and the Interfaith Story Circle.
Okay.
And we love reaching out into the community to gather students. It's always fun, it's always challenging, and teachers are our best allies, really, because they know the kids, they know the families, and they can encourage the kids to take advantage of this. We do not charge for the program. We offer it.
No, I know that. I see that. I mean, they can make a donation to help through a little bit, you know.
And we're always looking for diversity. We're not strictly interfaith, but we're always looking for all kinds of diversity. So the kids that are coming together come from different walks of life and different
cultures,
backgrounds, different cultures, and different, the time that they've been in the United States may be different, the families. And they get to develop their voice and share with others and walk in each other's shoes by listening to the stories of others and supporting them.
What a wonderful way to reinforce multiculturalism. In my last show, we talked from someone from Romania, so we were able to talk about their music and their dance and things. We had China, we talked about that. It's so easy for us to kind of, you live in your little neighborhood and like anything else out there is someone else.
Well, did you hear Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries the other day?
The new one, yeah.
He passed over the gavel. He said, we are a gorgeous mosaic of people from all different countries, and the Capital Region is the same way. So our programs really do make the entire area more vibrant for the participants.
I'm a total believer
Yeah.
in that. And I know that like my grandmother, who was Italian, lived in her little street. I mean, this was her whole world was this one little block on 7th Avenue in Mount Pleasant, and everybody on the street spoke Italian. She never learned English because she could rely on what she had. And I thought, I mean, I understand how people can get kind of boxed in that, but how enriching it is to learn about what other people do, because what you find, and I've traveled, you find wherever you go, there's a commonality between people. And unless you recognize that because you're open to it, then you don't even know it exists.
And there's all kinds of practical reasons why it's so great to get to know your neighbors in your own community.
To find out, I really enjoy going to events that promote other cultures or other, religions. I don't care what it is, but it gives me a chance to understand a little bit more.
How about the Festival of Nations?
Absolutely.
Down in the Capitol.
Yeah. But then you get the foods. Of course, everybody loves the food.
Oh, yeah.
But there's more to that than, food is essential and something to be celebrated in every nationality or ethnic group. But there's more deeper things in each
Stories.
one that I find are more common.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what you're doing with the kids, making them hear that or see that.
Sometimes they see that. Yeah. When the kids do tend to come up with a lot of folk tales. And often you see the same repeating themes and sometimes the same stories.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. There are stories that
Do they
travel.
realize that, or is this as the group changes? Do you find like a same story from this group to in that group, but they didn't know it?
Oh, I don't know. It just
Yeah.
comes up now and then. Our
Okay.
stories kind of morph from one culture to another.
How many coaches do you have? I know you have Stephanie. How many coaches do you have?
2. It's myself and Coach I. Osmond.
Okay.
So we worked together last year. Together was our first time, and the program was over Zoom. This is our first time actually getting to do the program in person, which is wonderful.
Well, it's good to do it in person because then you
Yes.
kind of you can see the reactions and you can see a little bit more. I like Zoom. It is easy a lot of times, but in certain instances, you need that feedback and you need that movement between people.
Yes, the connection between the teller and the audience
Yeah.
is so much more fulfilling when you're actually in person.
Exactly. Now, do you record any of these, or do you
Oh.
do you have a website where people can check out?
Oh, sure. childrenatthewell.org. Yeah. And we also have a YouTube channel, Children at the Well YouTube channel. I also wanted to mention that we are looking for people who might be interested in serving as volunteer assistant coaches.
Okay.
Come in and learn.
You have to
what
learn how to be a
Stephanie-
coach, really, because you want to do
Yeah.
the right thing. You don't want to steer them wrong.
But to work along with Stephanie and I.
Yeah.
So right now we're searching. So if anybody's listening. To
Okay,
this,
well,
yeah.
that's something that let's address that on the show, that if you're interested in learning to be a coach,
Mm-hmm.
they're willing to teach you how to do that, and you work with kids and enjoy the fruits of the labor, I guess you'd say, because then now you see what you've not created, but had the person develop within themselves. And I can't imagine that this doesn't give them so much confidence.
It does. It does. That's lovely. After the program's over and we have our event, this year we're having April 2nd will be the final performance. We give the kids all kinds of opportunities, optional opportunities. They don't have to, but if they want to come to a library, or sometimes we're asked to come to a festival, conference, the dance flurry, the Clearwater Festival.
Yeah.
We've done a number of things with
Yeah,
them.
and yeah, I
it's
mean, I
amazing.
just had the Chinese festival on, and they're always open to having people from other,
Oh.
cultures to come in and
Oh.
do their. They had even suggested that the ballroom dancer, which has
Yeah.
nothing to do with China in a sense, but to participate. So
I think we'll be at Niska Day this
Okay,
year.
great.
So, yeah, it's amazing. And you were asking about their confidence. It's amazing to see the growth.
And now this is going to be on Sunday, April 2nd at the Congregation Gates of Heaven.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're not sure where it's going to be.
Oh, you
yet.
don't know yet.
April 2nd, the childrenatthewell.org will have the information.
You haven't said where.
As it develops, but on February 5th, we're having a fun.
That your February 5th one will
Uh-huh.
be there. Okay,
Would
good.
you
I don't
like-
want to misdirect anyone.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you both for being here. Stephanie, keep doing what you're doing, because I
Awesome.
think what you're doing is really great for kids to help them build confidence, because so often kids are shy and they don't want to be in the limelight. They're behind their mother's apron, sort of, or wherever they can be. But what you're doing is really fulfilling for them and for their families as well, and for the community.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for both for being
Thanks
here.
for having us.
Thank you.